Hey YouTube, this is Southern Prepper 1. I'm going to try my hardest not to use any bad language. It's going to be hard to get through this video without showing my bad side. But that's the level of disgust. That is you can not push it to disgust, you can push it to hate. And I know as a Christian I shouldn't hate, but you know, in the Bible you're supposed to hate evil. And what I'm going to talk about is pure evil. I personally have a good friend. I know these people. This is firsthand information. This isn't coming from someone that's coming from someone. I could drive right now, show you the house. I could show you the houses. This is what happened. People that live next to rivers have to have flood insurance. FEMA provides the flood insurance. Federal government provides it. They paid on it for all this time. Now they need to use it. Their house got flooded. 3 foot plus in their house, totally a disaster. That in itself is very traumatic. These people, took weeks to process, to get things, what are they going to do? When you see your life and your hard work just destroyed, it's hard on a person. So FEMA eventually came to their house, said, yeah, you got flood damage. FEMA was kind enough to write them a $15,000 check. Now, granted, they have over $100,000 coming because that's their policy. I'm praying they can get their house fixed with what the flood insurance is going to do. So FEMA also said, hey, we're going to get you a camper. You can put a camper outside. We'll put a porta potty dump tank. We'll send a truck around once a week, empty that out. So these people are like, okay. They waited some more and more, and eventually had to call down there and find out, hey, no, we're not giving out campers to you poor people. So then they had to find a place to live. So they went with some relatives, but it's farther away than they want. It's hard to work on your house when you have to drive long distances. So as of today, they have not gotten any additional funding from FEMA and what's owed to them because FEMA's out of money. You keep seeing FEMA saying, oh, their leadership, oh, we're doing a great job. We got everything under control. This is bull crap. I'd love to use some other words right now because that's how angry I am at my federal government. A government that's for the people. These people aren't for us. These people don't work for us. They work for an establishment. They work for the bureaucratic mess. So what had to happen? You have someone's house slammed full of mud and water. These are elderly people. So yeah, they're working, they're cleaning, they're doing as best they can, but they need professional contractors to get this thing back together. Now remember, they got $15,000. That does not go far. When you got to just get a dumpster in here, you got to get crews in here to get all the crap out of the house that was brought in by the river. They've gone through their 15 grand. They need more money because if you let a house you sit there without getting everything out that's wet, getting it dried out completely, your house will turn into a mold factory. Your whole house will be worthless. It will be condemned. It won't be fixable. So they had to use their credit cards. What is the interest rates on a credit card? Do you think the federal government's going to reimburse them for this money? They had to go then get also a personal loan at a high interest rate because they need to get this thing cleaned up. They need to get going on this thing. Federal government sending them no money. What has it been? I don't even know. A month, 2 months? I can't even remember. And my brain's not working too much right now because I'm so upset. I'm so upset that the government would lie to the American people, say, oh no, we're taking care of them, because they're not taking care of. Some of the people in Western North Carolina are not properly being taken care of. So they're paying on a credit card, huge interest. They're paying on a personal loan to scrounge up enough money so the contractors can keep working. Just to get the house where it can start to get rebuilt, to get planned. You're talking, they're stripping out everything. Flooring, walls, they got a lot of work to do to get this house back to normal. So if you hear the federal government open their mouth on anything, they're lying. They lie about the economic numbers. They lie about every relationship we have overseas. And if you think this old man here is going to let my son go fight their freaking war in Europe, maybe World War III, you're crazy. Old men like me have nothing to lose, man. We've lived a good life. No, I'm not even 60 yet, but I'm knocking on that door in a few years. I'm not going to use the skill sets that I was given by Uncle Sam, and I'm not going to sit on my butt when they're pushing World War III on us. We don't need to be overseas. Bring 99% of our boys home. We don't need to defend Europe. Forget NATO. I don't care about NATO. We don't need NATO. We can still be a big brother to Europe if they get into trouble and we feel that it is in our best interest. If you're a young person out there, you should be fearful of the draft. It's sort of funny. When I was growing up, you hear about the hippies in the 60s. You hear about hippies in Vietnam protesting. When I was growing up, I was like, oh, those worthless pieces of crap. Why were they doing that? Why didn't you just go? When you get older, you get a little bit wiser. The hippies were right. The anti-war movement was right. If you can draft a person, you're no longer a free person. If they can call me to service and risk my life, I'm not a free person. I don't have life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. If they had no ability to draft, the United States government would drastically 180 change their attitude to the world. We couldn't be a bully. But because they have that ability to draft people, they can do what they want into this world. I'm 100% against the draft. If you can't sit down with me and throw the facts out, saying this is why we need our young men, our young women, to say we have to fight this war. If you can't sit down and prove it to all of us, we're not going to join your war. Because most of the time, we're the problem in here. And I never thought I would be saying this, but the United States pokes our nose into everything. And it's for a few reasons. It's for to rape and pillage and strip natural resources from the world. We're good at that. Going through life, I want to be fair with every relationship I have with people. The United States doesn't have that philosophy. It's like, hey, our big corporations can get into Africa. We can take all these resources from these people. No wonder they're poor, because we're raping and pillaging and stealing all of their resources. And we throw them some crumbs. It's not right. It is definitely not right. So, FEMA, not good. World War III could be coming. We need to fight this with everything. We need to make as many phone calls. We need to talk to our politicians. We need to talk to our local politicians in county council and say, hey, I don't support this war. I don't support the draft. Now, the United States could do a false flag. So everyone gets upset. Oh, they bombed this. They blew this up. They killed some service members. That's not beyond the possibility, because you have to rev up the people in the United States to get upset enough to do it, because most people, they don't. They're having hard enough time paying the electric bill. Buying eggs. Literally, I looked at the price of eggs, I guess because of some bird flu somewhere. It was like, whoa. And this is a sad day for me, because next time my wife goes shopping, we might have to buy some eggs. The old girls are just shut down. It's wintertime. They're old. We have a new batch coming on, and I actually saw 2 eggs in there today. Hallelujah. Hopefully they can fire those about 20-some birds up, and we won't have to buy. But at this point, we might have to buy next week some eggs, which is a sad thing for me. First of all, I don't want to spend my money on eggs, but the taste of my eggs, where they can free range and get all kinds of good stuff out in the yard, in the fields, is awesome. I'm upset. My country's not where it wants to be. Even with the election of Trump, it's not where I want it to be. I want to throw this out. You don't see me as much because I'm working, but I'm also helping my son and daughter-in-law. They're homeschooling their 2 boys. They pulled them out of public school. The reason they pulled them out of public school, and they went to a very small country school, really small. We thought it was awesome until my grandson came home and talked to his mama. He said, Mama, I got this book from school. It was in my classroom. It's part of the classroom books. And I was reading it, and I read stuff that I didn't think was right. So he went up to the teacher and said, Teacher, I shouldn't be reading this. And the teacher said, no, you should. Go back and read it. So my daughter-in-law got the book and documented, I don't know, 23, 33 sections of that book it dealt with things my son does, or my grandson should not have to read. Not even age appropriate, not even morally appropriate. So they got yanked out of the school. We did everything. The principal thought he was going to get them and say, you can't just yank your kids out. You got to, and my son went through everything, got the proper paperwork filled out. So we did that proper transfer. My son was almost bullied by the principal. So there's a lot of wolves in sheep clothing out in education. And if you're a good teacher, I am not attacking you at all. I actually support you. But the system at my small little school, country school over here, is destroying our kids. So don't think because, oh no, those people teach or they talk a good game, that there's not stuff in there. This is just information that was in his classroom that he read. What are teachers not, being recorded, not on the record, telling their students? Unbelievable. So, sum it all up. The country's not going where it's supposed to be going, and I am tired of sitting on my butt. Yeah, I can vote, and I did vote. Hopefully Trump's going to make some correction. I think it's more than that. I think it's not a political problem. It's a spiritual problem. It's men's hearts. It's ladies' hearts. And we have moved away from God. We've moved away from a moral compass. What's going to fix it? A revival, for sure. But as an American, I have some rights. I have the right to get on here and tell you what I think is wrong with the country. Also, the Constitution gives us the right, if our nation is on the wrong track, we can use a lot of methods to put us back on track. It is in the Constitution. Some of those are people rising up, people using more than just their mouths, using physical actions to restore the constitutional republic. Because if we don't do anything soon, this is it. Trump has to do something. He has to kick the New World Orders, the deep state, the bureaucratic mess. He's got to clean it up. Because in a few short years, the interest on our debt will collapse us. You think it's hard now, buying groceries, paying for gas? It's going to be a lot harder when all of that tax money is just going to pay the interest. I hope you're doing well. Don't want to discourage you. I want to encourage you that if you're feeling the same way, there's millions of us out there. Millions stood up and voted the liberal agenda down. But we got to do more. We're going to continue to have to fight for righteousness and for our constitutional republic. They're both worth fighting for. Thanks for watching.